Good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 14 of our parenting challenge. And today we are finally into part 3 where we're going to dive a little bit deeper into behaviors. And today I'm asking the question, are your kids bad? So I want you to think about that. And I'm going to tell you, no, they are not. You've probably heard it before. There's no such thing as bad kids. Kids want to do good. They want to belong. They want to do well, and they want to get along with everybody. When kids are feeling good, they do good. When they're not feeling good, it's really hard for them. And that's when we usually see behaviors. So behaviors are signs that your kids are struggling. They're discouraged. They're not feeling competent. They're not feeling connected, right? They're not feeling like they can do their best. And so, all they want to do is share that enjoyment with you and be confident. Think of when your kids are at their best. Think of when they are connected and when they are feeling confident, right? And they are having fun. Behaviors usually don't show up then, do they? Right? And so it's thinking about when they're feeling good and when they're not feeling good. That's when we see the behaviors. So when behaviors come out, it's usually because kids aren't getting their needs met. And what are some needs? Well, there's the basic things, of course, shelter and safety. We know, if our kids are tired and hungry, what can happen? Those are kind of the basic things, as well as the connection. And that's why I've been really working on the relationship piece. They also need to know that they can express themselves without judgment, right? That they feel like they're being listened to and understood, which is why we've been really working on the listening skills as well. Kids also need to feel like they're contributing, they're valuable, they belong, all of those types of things, right? And that they make a difference in the world. And when these needs aren't met, that's where we start seeing problems. When they aren't met, that's the foundation that kids thrive on. And when they're feeling good and connected and they know that they're being listened to and understood, we don't need to see those behaviors because they feel secure. And so the behaviors don't come out. So we need to rethink behaviors. Now, behaviors really aren't, I know in the moment sometimes they feel like it, but they're not meant to hurt you or to ruin your life or make life really difficult. They're an expression of something else about what they need. And often kids have tried and tried and tried, and they're just not able to get anywhere. They're just not feeling very successful. And they're constantly maybe met with nagging or with anger, right? Or retaliation from other kids. And it only worsens those behaviors. Behaviors are important clues that your kids are struggling. They're important information about your kids' private world. Maybe things that they can't even express or articulate themselves or know what's going on for themselves. So that's why we don't want to shut behaviors right down right away, because it does really give us important information. We need to understand them. So our role is to play detective, right? We need to ask, why is this behavior happening? What's going on for my child and why now? When we're investigating behaviors, we don't actually need to look at the behaviors per se. We need to look at the context around the behaviors. Sometimes there's obvious triggers, like when they're tired or when they're hungry, or, in my case the other day, when little sister throws older sister's stuff all in the garbage, right? I can tell that there's going to be behaviors and kind of what's going on there. But there's also other things that we need to look at that maybe we don't always look at. And what happens after the behaviors? And how are we feeling as a result of those behaviors? Those are two really important clues about what's going on for our kids. So there's 4 kind of common functions or purposes of behavior. The first one is attention seeking, right? These are the kids who are going to whine or tantrum or cry, and they're just going to dig until they get their way or until they get our attention. Usually these behaviors make us feel annoyed or irritated. We get impatient. We've had enough. Stop crying already. Stop with the funny sounds, the annoying sounds. You might end up nagging them or reminding them or threatening them, right? Those are the kinds of reactions that we end up doing. Or we give in. Right? We just give in, fine, just stop crying, go away, right? Here it is. And when you give the attention, the behavior stops in the short term. They probably come back again. So long term, that's not really helping when we're giving attention. So those are the first behaviors. The second behaviors are the power behaviors. These are the kids who seem defiant. They seem to say no to any request we ever give them. They want control, right? Or if they do give in and do what we ask, they do it half-assed. I remember once when I was a teenager, my dad asked me to mow the lawn, and we got into a bit of a power struggle, and finally I knew I wasn't going to win, so I'm like, fine, I'll go and do the lawn. But I ended up doing crazy eights everywhere. right? And if you know my dad, he's a strict army guy, right? So orderly, perfect, everything needs to be just so. And in the long term, I ended up winning that battle because he never asked me to mow the lawn again, right? So we kind of just stick it. Fine, I'll do it, but we're going to stick it to them. We can usually tell when our kids are engaged in these power behaviors because of the power struggles that we get into. And we feel angry, right? Or we feel like they're just pushing our buttons. And the interactions just get more and more heated and we end up fighting, right? And it might even turn into a screaming match. Here, us engaging in our kids' behaviors doesn't make the behavior stop, like in attention-seeking behaviors. Here, us engaging in our kids only usually escalates the behaviors. The third is the revengeful behaviors. These are the ones where kids look like they're going for the jugular, right? They're meant to hurt. They might say or do really mean things. And they don't just push our buttons. I mean, they are wrenching our hearts. And we can usually tell when these behaviors are coming out when we feel hurt or we're shocked. We can't believe what we just heard, right? We might feel spiteful and we want to counterattack. We want to hurt back. And we might wonder at times if we even love our kids. And that happens. Guys, that's a normal part. Do we even love them? The fourth is when our kids are feeling incompetent, right? They still might say no, right? They don't want to follow through, but not because they need control. It's because they don't feel that they can do it successfully. They don't feel they can meet our expectations. If they do try again, it's just a half-hearted attempt, because why would I put my whole effort in and fail? It's easier just to do it kind of half sort of, and then, you know, I'm not putting my heart on the line and making myself vulnerable. Or these are the kids who give up really easily. I have kids who just start crying right away. As soon as you ask them to do something, they just start crying because it's too much. They can't do it, right? And we try so hard, we're not seeing any improvement. We know our kids are here when we feel hopeless, when we feel helpless and we're discouraged. Or, you know, more often than not with our older kids, with teenagers, I see parents who are just like, give them a big kick in the butt, just get them going, or they completely turn apathetic. You know what? It's your life. You do it. That's how we know our kids are here. And oftentimes, each of these tend to progress into each other. So what starts out as attention seeking might turn into a power behavior. If they're not winning and not getting some control, it might turn to revenge. And if that's still not working for them, then they go into the incompetent. Sometimes there's lots of overlaps as well. So your challenge for today is to play detective, right? And analyze your kids' behaviors. You can use past behaviors. Maybe today's a great day and they're not going to misbehave, but look at behaviors that you're concerned about and kind of a pattern. And it might even be really mild things, you know, subtle things like, oh, here's some math for you to do. No, I can't do it. Or they're giving up, or mom, I need help, right? That's really telling. Those are behaviors as well. Use today's worksheets to help you analyze some of those your behaviors. And sometimes, like I said, there's going to be more than one purpose. We are going to start going into some general behavior strategies tomorrow, but I'm going to give you 2 days to sort of look at your kids' pattern behaviors. And then after tomorrow, we'll go into the specific strategies on how do we address these attention seeking or power struggles, revenge, or feelings of inadequacy. So go have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.